Hello and welcome to all you Sagittarians. This is your yearly forecast for 2022. And what is going to happen for the Sagittarians? Let's just have a look. There are lots of things happening, but I think in general, it's relationships again. It really is. It really is, dear Sagittarians. There's a focus on relationships, but there's also a focus on work. So let's have a look. First of all, I'm going to be talking about the retrogrades. Venus retrograde, Mars retrograde, then Jupiter Neptune conjunction, Jupiter in Aries, which is going to be fun for the Sagittarians. Yee-hee, yoo-hoo. Oh, especially the Sagittarius risings, like I have my rising sign in Sagittarius. Oh, Jupiter in the fifth is fantastic. Anyways, the notes are shifting. I'll be talking about that as well. But let's get started with the beginning of the year. We are in the Venus retrograde period then, because December of 2021, January, February of 2022 is going to be the major focus on the Venus retrograde in Capricorn. But it's not just a Venus retrograde in Capricorn. It's a Venus that's going to conjoin with Pluto 3 times. So there's an element of all or nothing, transformation, death, rebirth. And guess what? It's also Venus conjunct Mars conjunct Pluto all together. That's passionate energy, to say the least. Very passionate energy in what particular area of your life? Second house. Second house is the money house, and it's your self-worth. So it could be two things, hopefully both of them, because in astrology, when your self-worth goes up, money goes up. Now, so you have an opportunity, dear Sagittarians, to raise more money, to gain more money, there's something about your money house that with such a powerful energy there. I mean, Venus is the attractor, and not only of love, it could be love as well, by the way, but then a love that shakes up your values, because the second house is your value system, it's your self-worth. So either it is finances or something more immaterial, so to speak. But whatever it is very transformative. So you could be working hard to improve your financial situation. And there is a transformation coming up after this retrograde. So you will see the results of that more during, when that transit of Venus is going direct. And that is, Venus is going direct is, let's have a look here. It's going direct at the very end of January. So then you will see the results already. If you're, it can be big money as well. So because Venus with Pluto, that's big money. On another level, this has to do with your confidence, and this has to do with your core values. So you could be, for instance, a relationship, a very charismatic one here. You know, Venus Pluto is not just a relationship, it's an all or nothing kind of intense energy, definitely with Mars there. Could trigger your values for whatever reason. Maybe your core value, it depends on what your core values are. Maybe your core value, a lot of Sagittarians, is trust. Trust is very important. Now you can have that core value, of course. Trust is very important. I trust other people, or people need to, be trustworthy, and I have to be trustworthy. It can be triggered now because of this Venus, Mars, Pluto. So that you are triggered. Are you trustworthy enough? You know, that kind of thing. Of course, in a relationship, that is very significant, because Pluto also has to do with things behind the scenes. That could be really, your values are really going to be triggered. You know, do I stand up my integrity, or do I shift my values? Maybe you had a value and it's not working anymore, or you want to shift it. This is possible, but people don't change their values that easily. So it's quite an interesting one. And because the second house has to do with your security. So mind you, especially in relationships or new relationships, if it goes well with your values. For instance, a secret relationship with this thing going on, you know, with the Venus and the Pluto, and if your value is like, hey, I'm number one, I don't want to play second violin. Be aware of that there can be a tendency where you are going to be tested here, where your values are going to be tested. But all in all, a very transformative period, and on a financial level, this can really mean a windfall for sure, but one that needs a little bit of time to unfold and to improve your financial situation. Then Jupiter Neptune together in April, that's rare as well in Pisces. So and a lot of energy in your fourth house, which is the house of home, and so you could be cocooning around that time in April, or you could be very trying to find more meaning at home, you know, Jupiter Neptune there. It can also mean like a connection with a parent that kind of have that soul kind of connection. You know, maybe your parent, you have lost a parent, and you kind of, through some sort of a event, you kind of reconnect with them. Or when it's, it can also mean that there is, you're going to move into a bigger place, literally. Jupiter Neptune conjunction. But whatever it is, stay grounded, stay with the feet on the ground, because Neptune has a tendency to go a bit like, whoa, it's not grounded enough. So when you are grounded and when you don't expect too much, you can have big dreams, but keep them practical and you will be fine. Then Jupiter in the 11th of May up until the 29th of October. Oh yes, by the way, you could be, because you are Jupiter, with Neptune around the 12th of April, you could be losing your mind a little bit there. And I mean, do it in a good way. You could mean escaping, as it is in your home area of life. I think it won't do that much of a damage, but you could be really wanting to just escape it all. And on a positive level, it's feeling emotionally fulfilled and good about yourself and about, you know, the core of your being, so to speak. So use it in that way. But then, as I said, your ruler, which is you, Jupiter, shifts into the 5th house of Aries, which is one of the most pleasant transits for Sagittarians to have. Not only because it's in a fellow fire sign of Aries, it's in the 5th house. It's a fun house. It's a house of romance. It's the house of children. The house of having fun. I remember when Jupiter it happens every 12 years, by the way. So, but when Jupiter is in my 5th house, I kind of have more time, I don't know why, but more time for doing things that I find very fun. And it's a very fiery energy. It's a lust for life, absolutely. When you are single, you could meet someone, and with Jupiter in the 5th, it can be someone who's very wise, who's very fiery, who's very buoyant and optimistic, and maybe from a different background than yours. So you could really fall in love, but in a very expansive way. You know, life is bigger than big. When Jupiter is into your 5th house, you could wanting to have children. If you have the age and the possibility and whatnot, you could think about that. Or at least having a new hobby or exploring there, having more fun in your life, basically, because you, Jupiter, are going to be in that 5th house. What I've also seen is that people can start their businesses. So, and in Aries, that is a very cardinal sign. So it can be really that you're doing your best to do so, and to innovate, and to express yourself through your own business. That's also Jupiter in the 5th house. I've seen it many times when people starting their businesses then. Now, another thing that is very crucial is Mars retrograde. So Mars will be in Gemini, in your opposite house of relationships. And it's from Mars stays 6 weeks normally in a sign, and now it's going to be there for 7 months. That is a huge amount of time. And that shows changes in that area. It also shows when you are having a new plan, when you're having newness coming into your life, or wanting to have newness in your life, it is possible. But only when Mars then goes direct, which in this case will be in January of 2023. So up from August of 2022 up until March of 2023, you're going to have Mars in your 7th house. That is a very lively energy. So that shows that that part of the year is going to be lively, because you're going to get energized by other people. It can simply mean a connection, you know, you get to know someone better. You know, Mercury has been retrograding last year there, and Venus retrograding also in Gemini. So there's something already brewing the last couple of years when it comes to your connections, and also with the North Node there. But now it's Mars. Now you act upon it, and other people act upon it as well. So when you are single, for instance, this could mean a significant relationship that is really becoming very lively, really becoming very sexy, so to speak, because Mars is the sign of drive and sexuality. And in the 7th, it can really mean that when you start a relationship, and then it really starts, you know, to become very real, and that it becomes a big part of your life, that you, together with another person, share the same interest and the same ideas, Gemini, with someone else. And so this going backwards and forwards just means that it takes a little bit of time to do the right action, to do the right road together. And it's like some sort of an adjustment phase that I see there. If you are in an existing relationship, it also means changes in a relationship. So to get out of things that Mars is very cutting energy. So if things are not going well, you can cut this out. Definitely it can mean tension when your relationship is very, very bad, and then for years and years. It can mean now that they fed up, and more they than you are fed up with it, because Mars in the 7th house, the opposite house, it can be through the anger of another person that you kind of see, I'm not dealing with this anymore. You know, that kind of energy. But that's only a small percentage of people who are really, really having a hard time in relationships. That can be a cutting off of a relationship with Mars there. And of course, because it's in Gemini, it's going to square up to Neptune, you know, that energy of the home. So there could be some changes happening there. A lot of mutable energy, so a lot of fluctuations, but you're Sagittarian, you can deal with that. So that is good. And then the nodes are shifting. So a lot of relationship work to do, and you're not doing this alone. And know that it is to improve your situation, because the Mars retrograde ultimately is there to improve your situation. So be patient with that other person as well, and work on the relationship for sure, if it's worth it, of course. If you say, yeah, really, I have a relationship, it's not going super well, but it's more pluses and minuses, then this can be a time where you work on that relationship. And they can be very demanding, you know, the other party can be very demanding, and but it's a collaboration thing, so to speak. Also business partners as well. And then but also follow your integrity, right, with that Neptune there. Now Mars does trine Saturn, so if you do really your best and you do it in a day-to-day kind of level, then this is really long lasting, because Mars trines Saturn from your 3rd house, the way that you think, the way that you communicate. So that is going to be a very supportive energy towards that kind of scattered energy of Mars there in your 7th house. So yes, but the results will be very, very clear for you around January of 2023. Now the North Node is shifting into Taurus as from the beginning of the year, and stays there the whole year, and that is your 6th house. So also the North Node is where you need to put your focus on your 6th house, which is your day-to-day routines, your discipline for your health, to improve your health. Lots of possibilities there. So improvement of health, improvement of your day-to-day routines, focusing on that can give you a lot of growth overall, and letting go of escaping. You know, the South Node in the 12th house, the things where you escape in a non-healthy way, they need to be cut off there, and that can be cut off there when the North Node is in your 6th house of your disciplining of the routines, and that gives you mental and physical stability. So that is nice as well. Saturn square Uranus, I'm not going to talk about that because you're not a fixed sign, and it's only very present around October time. So it has to do with your work. So yes, your work, you do want to change it as well. So because the North Node is there as well with Uranus, there could be some shifts at work as well, especially around July. So if you want to change that, it is possible, and doing it quite quickly is possible around that time as well. So Pluto in the 2nd house, talked about that. I talked about Neptune. Yes, I talked about the most that I needed to talk about. It's time to finish this up. Thank you so much for listening. Have a very good year, dear Sagittarians, and see you next time. Bye-bye.